Welcome to BlueGate Studio's mixing tips and tricks on YouTube. And today we'll be discussing gain staging, fades, volume automation, and preparation for vocal processing. This will be the first of a 3-part video series on how to achieve professional sounding vocals for your songs. When recording vocals, there are many factors to keep in mind before the audio hits your computer. This is the first step of gain staging. To better understand, let's take a look at how the sound from your voice gets recorded through today's microphones. Sound waves, or mechanical energy, will travel from you through the air and will be converted to electrical energy through a process called transduction. This is important because the way certain microphones convert these sound waves will affect the tone and dynamics of your recordings. Large diaphragm condenser microphones are the most popular type in modern-day recordings because of its unique way of energy transfer. One of the advantages of a condenser mic element is that it has much less mass than a dynamic element, so it's far easier to move it in response to subtle sounds or high frequencies. Condenser microphones, however, do require a power source to operate. This can come in a battery inside of a microphone, or it can be fed through the microphone cable from the mixer or recorder as so-called phantom power, or 48 volts. This brings us to the second gain stage, microphone preamps. Microphone preamps are a bit easier to digest as its main function is to serve the quiet, sensitive signal of the microphone and simply increase it. However, many recording engineers own several different types of preamps for other reasons, as they also offer unique color or subtle to harsh saturation to tone the vocals. It's important here to understand how the condenser microphone operates because it gives the singer and engineer a basis of how you should sing into it. Because of the condenser's sensitive nature, a singer shouldn't get too close to the mic as something called the proximity effect will occur.
Testing proximity effect. Testing proximity effect. Testing proximity effect.
The resulting sound will be a huge spike in volume and an imbalance of low end. Keeping the right distance and having adequate volume control as a singer is imperative. When setting the appropriate level on your interface's preamp or your external preamp, make sure to monitor it in your DAW and play with the levels so that you aren't close to clipping. Being safe here is always a good idea, especially if the singers you are working with do not have great volume control. Everything may be nice and consistent at, let's say, -6 dB, but just one loud word or phrase can push you over zero very quickly. Always keep in mind the sensitivity of your mic. I would say around -12 dB going into your DAW is a good base level to keep you safe from clipping, but loud enough to be far away from the noise floor. Once you're satisfied with your recordings, you can and probably should adjust the clip gain of certain words or phrases so that there aren't any crazy volume swings. When the recordings are in your DAW, any clip gain, volume automations, or fader adjustments can be considered further gain staging. These stages are necessary for mixing, but for all intents and purposes, we are really just focusing on the first few because it sets the initial volume and tone for your song. Before we get into compression, EQing, and further vocal processing, let's make sure your recordings are ready for that. Make sure you have edited the silences and used appropriate fades at the beginning and ending of words and phrases. Also check to see if there are any pops or clicks, as this will become a problem when compressing your vocals and mixing. There are ways to remove these unwanted pops and clicks with software like Isotope RX, but realistically, the best way to attenuate these is just to record that part over, if possible. I could go on and on about vocal performance, for example, vocal timing and pitch when recording, but for time's sake, all I'll say is that save yourself a headache, and if you can, just keep re-recording until timing is great, musical, and pitch is relatively good. Autotune and Melodyne are great tools and work exceptionally well, but time-stretching algorithms for timing, in my opinion, aren't perfect and do not sound that great. In the next video, I'll be going over basic processing of vocals, and we'll focus mainly on EQing, tone shaping, de-essing, and pitch correction. I hope to see you all there, and hope you learned a thing or two. Stay saucy, my friends.